Welcome to your Daily Revolution podcast. Today's topic, the most important sale you will ever make. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
My name is Setema, Gali, the founder and creator of the Prosperity Revolution, a global movement that helps you to get out of scarcity and into prosperity every single day. A movement where people have value, things do not, where money is a result of helping people, where you're rewarded for creating value for others, and where prosperity is not the result of luck, but a predictable steps and formulas, and where happiness is the ultimate goal.
What up? What up? It's good to be with you guys here on your Daily Revolution podcast, right? The podcast that's about abundance and prosperity, helping you to get out of scarcity, stop letting your life be run by fear and doubt, and to become the greatest version of yourself, which means the greatest, whether you're a husband, father, mother, wife, the greatest athlete, if you're an athlete, the greatest student, if you're a student, employee, employer, job, team member, manager, sales pro, whatever your position in life. We'll just call it the greatest version of you. And if this is your first time here, I say thank you for listening. I'm honored to have you here with the millions and millions of podcasts available. I'm honored that you're listening to this one. If this makes a difference for you, absolutely share it forward. It's been a while, right? I was on spring break vacation for the last week, so took some time to really unplug, and I thought about shooting some podcasts, and I thought, no, I'm just going to unplug. I'm just going to unplug. I'm not going to do any work. I cleared the schedule. I was with my family, my boys, working out, swimming, doing s'mores, cooking breakfasts, hiking, hanging out. It was an amazing, amazing trip, and I wanted to share really this concept that I got from spring break, right? I love to learn. I love to take things, and that's something you ought to take on and try it on. When you look at life as this walking, talking experience where you can extract lessons and you can extract gifts from, it's amazing what happens when you look at life as a student and as a teacher. You know, student meaning I'm going to learn something today. Doesn't matter if I'm in my 30s, 40s, or 50s. Doesn't matter if I have 100,000, 100 million in the bank account. I want to be a student teacher. Doesn't matter if I feel like I walk with God daily or I have no spirituality. Can I learn something every day? So while I'm in spring break, it was just a phenomenal trip. Right? We asked the boys if they wanted to go to Mexico. They're like, We talk about, going to some other exotic place. And then we bring up, do you want to go to Utah? And the boys are like, Utah! Why? Because they've got grandma and grandpa. They got family up there. Cousins and aunties and uncles, and they know Utah is just, we're such as a Samoan Polynesian culture, we're so family driven, right? It's how we were raised. It's what we've been trained, taught, and educated. And it's really at the core of our culture, which is family, right? Family and the team and the family unit. So we get up to Utah. We got this amazing Airbnb place, VRBO, whatever you want to call it, right? It's 8,000 square feet. There's a pool, there's a slide, there's a place to do s'mores, there's this large multiple decks, barbecue grill. I mean, the house is perfect. Like, I would buy this house if it was for sale. I even asked the owner, hey, would you ever sell this? And we had probably 30 to 40 people around us every single day while we were on spring break. The kids are downstairs, kids are swimming. My kids lived in the pool. I was like the s'more master, right? Setting up s'mores for the kids, cooking breakfast every day. And it was just such a great time. Now, here's why this is so crucial and critical for you. You see, 10 years ago, I often bring up 10 years ago because in 2011, we were in a tiny townhome. And in this townhome, it was less than 900 square feet. The closet, I took the closet door off because it was not a walk-in closet. I was miserable. I hated it. I'm a big dude. I like big spaces. I like a lot of space. My car's got to be spacious. My home's got to be spacious. Even when I fly, I need space. Right? Big dude. And 10 years ago, I was just constantly like searching and digging and writing and creating. I was making declarations. I was writing my goals and my outcomes down. I was writing about this life that I wanted to live. And I was writing and I was reading and I was listening and I was attending seminars and workshops and I was working and grinding it. And I continued to visualize this life. And it's crazy because 10 years later, I'm living what I visualized 10 years ago. I'm living what I visualized 15 years ago. And the more detailed I got inside of my conscious self-creation, right, the more detailed I got in creating that, the more detailed I'm able to live it. Now, one of the best things about this spring break vacation is I sat on the deck at night and I overlooked the valley. Right? We were up on the mountainside and it was amazing. I was able to look at just the valley, the lights, and have family there. And it's like a perfect vacation for me. I love being around family. And I was thinking about the last 10 years and the journey, and I was thinking about sales. Like 10 years ago, I went to go knock as a door-to-door salesman. And I was talking to one of my cousins who was considering going knocking doors. And I got emotional as we talked one night because I'm like, you're going to go sell this thing, but the most important sale you'll ever make, the most important sale, right? The top person that must be convinced, influenced, persuaded, and campaigned and sold is you. For Setema, it's me. We are raised in a world, for most people, and I can boldly say this, for most people, we're not taught and trained, and we're not educated and conditioned and programmed to believe that you can go get your dreams. You could live the life you truly want and to have greater ambition. We're not taught that. We're taught to be limited, to think realistic. Right? We're taught to not really question. And as I've wanted to build this life of contribution, a life of impact, and a life where vacations were amazing and travel was awesome and fun, and we had the luxuries and the comforts of life, and we could leave legacies and really make a difference. When I say make a difference, what I'm talking about, and, look, if you're listening to this, just be open. A lot of people will say things like, hey, we're praying for you. That's great. That's great that we pray. I pray always, right? As taught in scriptures, pray always that you may come off conqueror. Pray always. God's spirit will be with you. Pray always. And yet, what do I know? In a world where you can really make a difference, I wanted to be in a place where I could write a check, or I could do more than just pray, because I'm not taking anything away from praying, but I wanted to really make a difference. And one of the best ways to make a difference is to be able to write a check or donate your time, right? Donate your time and donate your energy and donate your resources. That makes a real difference. And as I've been on this journey to have that life where I love to treat, right? One of the days on spring break, we rented out a theater and we watched, I think it was King Kong versus Godzilla. And we bought all the popcorn. It's just fun. Like that stuff to me, one of the greatest things you'll ever do with money is just give it away. Right? Be able to give it away to charitable causes and worthy causes and foundations and things that you really believe in. So, as I'm sitting there talking with my cousin, I'm thinking about like having to sell myself. I had to convince myself. And I say I had to convince myself because when I lost everything in the '08 crash and I was down and out and I was like on the bottom and I was bankrupt and like literally bankrupt and I was depressed and I had suicidal thoughts here and there. I was like, golly, this is crazy. And I'm reaching out to God in the heavens and voicing like, God, where are you? I know, and I'm worthy of more. And I remember knocking in Easley, South Carolina, this small little town, Easley, right outside of Greenville, looking up to the clouds into the heavens, seeing the clouds and the sun and the wind on my face. I was just so depressed. Like, what the heck am I doing here? How did I get here? And yet, all the while continuing to believe and continuing to create and continuing to desire a greater life. And I had to convince myself over and over again, Setema, you are worthy of this. Setema, you deserve this. Setema, what do you want? And it's not easy when you've been beat down and when all you know is poverty or all you know is mediocrity or all you know is, hey, there's a limited amount of money that we can make. And obviously, I'm really speaking to entrepreneurs and business owners, but even if you're an employee and you have a job where your income is somewhat fixed, I'm speaking to you too. It's amazing what happens when you absolutely sell yourself. Like, when we sell something, we're convincing and we're persuading and we're moving people to remove the obstacles to help them get what they want. Well, that's what you've got to do with yourself. You've got to sell yourself. Like, the greatest sell that will ever take place is you selling yourself on you. You selling yourself on you that, hey, I can do this. I deserve this. I remember going out to knock literally 10 years ago this month, flying to South Carolina, and I was so afraid. I was terrified. I was like, oh my gosh, can I really do this job? It's 100% commission. I got to go learn this new skill set. I've never sold an account before. I don't know how to do this. What if I fail? I'm 35 years old. Oh my gosh. And yet every single day I would convince and sell and build myself up. So, look, there's a few things you can do here that I want to make this as practical and as tactical as possible. Number one, identify your current belief system. Become really aware of it. And I'll just make it easy. There's kind of two belief systems here. There's the belief system of scarcity, which is, hey, look, just be grateful. Just settle for what you got. Stop trying to reach for the stars. Just make the best of what you got. And just, one day we're going to die. And, at least you were alive. That's scarcity. A lot of fear, a lot of doubt, right? It's not even possible. That is scarcity. The other mindset is abundance. And this is the mindset, which world do you live in? One world is, hey, it's not possible. Don't even ask. Don't even think. Don't even dream. Just go through life and just be grateful. Just make the best of everything. And, money doesn't make you happy. And this conversation was happening with my sons yesterday. They were giving examples of happiness, and one of my sons was like, well, hey, Judah, he was talking to the younger one, would you rather have just a regular life? And I was listening, and these already, they're already trained. Would you rather just live in a small apartment and have a regular life and be really happy? Or would you rather be really rich and be miserable? And I said, son, can I help you on this example here? You could be really rich and wealthy and really influential and be really happy. I was like, it doesn't see, but see, look, at a young age, people are already trained in top. I don't know how and where because it's not our language, but they think that it has to be either or. So the scarcity world is fear, doubt, lack. The abundant world, or the abundant mentality, is, what would it take? What would it take? 10 years ago, what would it take? It would take Setema to leave behind the old version of him. It would take Setema to go develop and learn and grow his mindset and develop his skill set and access his heart set and align in his soul set. I would have to change and transform. That's the abundant mentality. I'm not a billionaire, but what would it take? And is that what I want? So number one, identify where you're at. Identify the world that you're living in. Are you living in scarcity or are you living in abundance? Once you know what that is, right, we can make moves. Number two is identify what you want. In other words, get really clear about how you want to live. Now, if you're in scarcity, this is difficult, if not impossible to do. Because in scarcity, you're like, well, why would you even ask that question? Most people think it's well, it's not possible. So yeah, I don't, and they'll usually say, I don't know, when they really do know, but they don't believe it's possible. So identify the mindset, scarcity or abundance, and then identify the outcome or the life. What do you want? How do you want to live? The fact that we can take our time, drive to Utah or fly, when we need to fly. This summer, we're looking at flying in a number of places. And we're going to be on the move this summer. And it takes resources. And I like having the freedom that resources and money and having multiple businesses have. In fact, multiple businesses and streams of income, that's a result of developing your mindset, right? And sharpening your skill sets and accessing the heart set and aligning the soul set. Like these sets, these even building up the tool sets. God, that's what it's about. Can you imagine living in the world of abundance? What would it take to go make 100,000 a month or 1 million a month? Or what would it take to be super healthy and to be able to grow and age gracefully? What would it take to have the most awesome relationships and to be so happy? What would it take to be able to, what would it take? That's the abundant mentality. And then identify what you really want. Identify how you want to live. When you're in abundance, it's all possible. Right? Again, one of my outcomes is we always talk about owning a jet. Now, this was never an outcome before, but now that I fly so much, I recognize it might be nice to have my own jet. Obviously with some business partners, it might be nice to be able to get to where I want to go. What would it take to be able to want to take care of mom and dad? Again, taking care of my parents. I want to take care of my parents. I want to help them out. I want to help them financially. And I have, but I want to do that more. What would it take to get my kids on these service missions when they're young to help them realize, hey, we live in the top 1% of the world. How we live, where we live, the way we live, we live in the top. It's crazy. Comforts of life. And sometimes, even myself, sometimes I take it for granted. So identify the world you live in. Identify what you want, right? Really identify that. Be clear about it. And then the third thing is to identify what needs to go. Are you willing to give up your stories? Are you willing to give up your excuses? Are you willing to give up your comforts? Are you willing to give up what you currently have right now so you could go get something completely different? In order to do the spring break, again, I'm referencing spring break because it was such an amazing week. In order to do those types of things and to impact and influence and live your calling and purpose, in order to have influence and make a difference, you're going to have to give some things up. Identify what's getting in the way and then be willing to let it go. Be willing to discard it. The path of prosperity is the path where littering is not only encouraged, it's not only allowed, but it's highly encouraged. Get rid of your ego and get rid of your pride and drop your fears and doubts. And when they come back, you just got to act in spite of the fear. I've had to let go of stories that brown guys don't make money. I know that some people are like, what? But that was a story that I'd held on to for a long time. So identify which mindset and world do you live in, scarcity or abundance. Then get into scarcity or get out of scarcity and get into abundance. Number 2, identify what the lifestyle and how you want to feel in the daily life experience you want to have every single day. What type of income would be required? What type of car do you want to drive? What type of schools do you want to put your kids into? We were just talking about this with my sons yesterday. I was like, do you know what the tuition is at UCLA? I'm like 35 to 40,000 a year. And then we were talking about Brigham Young University. I was like, it's like $5,000 a year. It's such a big difference. We're talking about universities and colleges, and we're already starting to plant those seeds of college. Hey, what do we do after high school? It's college, or they might choose to serve a mission for the church, our church. Maybe they choose the military. Maybe they choose a trade school. But I want them to constantly be forward thinking. And what do you got to let go of? I've had to let go of stories. I've had to let go of pride. I've had to let go of wanting to always look good to other people. So those are some things that can help you if you want to sell yourself. And I don't mean sell your soul to the devil, nothing like that. I'm talking about convincing yourself, do you want to really live a life that's amazing? I'm sitting here in Southern California. I took my sons to school, already got a workout in this morning. And I'm ready to start my day today. I'm so excited for the day today. Just nothing but great things on the horizon. I love my clients. I love the people I work one-on-one with. I love the people in our circle of champions and our huddle. I love them. They're amazing. They're incredible. I love my life. I love being able to date my wife and be with her frequently, be around my sons and take my sons to basketball. I love being able to contribute and give back and serve in my church and my community. I love it. I love what I do for work. I love the investments and the things we're building. I love what we're creating. I love my business partners. I love being a daddy. You can tell I am the man who loves his life. And it wasn't that way 10 years ago. And I was just a young pup in the NFL 20 years ago. And 30 years ago, I was just going into high school. So there's no guarantees for life except what you choose to do. My invitation is go identify what's the current mindset, and get out of the scarcity, stay in abundance, identify the life you really want to live and your outcomes in future and your goals. Then identify, right, what do you need to let go of today so you can start living in abundance, so you can start living a world of results and really living in a place where you can fund and create and automate and delete and delegate the things that you don't need to do so that you can build a life where you really are living at the highest level possible. I love you. Thanks for listening to the podcast. It's great to be back. I'm out.
Let's go! This is your daily revolution. Live in prosperity, we show you how to do it. There's no luck about it, we got the strategic blueprint. This is your daily revolution. You already know. And if you don't, then check my resume. Turning pressure into possibilities every day. Y'all can win and live our unique purpose. We change our mindsets and put the work in. This is your daily revolution. Your daily revolution. Revolution. Your daily revolution podcast.